Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Big Butterfly Month India talk. The Big Butterfly Month has taken off really well, and there has been a lot of informative talks. And one of them is going to be this talk today, where Sammilan Shetty is going to talk about India's first documentary on the life of butterflies as well as Butterfly Park Belvai. If you're aware, Butterfly Park Belvai is the hotspot of butterflies in down south, and it has got a huge numbers of butterflies as species are concerned, as per life cycle is concerned, and everything. And Samir is going to take us through that, as well as the trials and tribulations that he has gone through while making that documentary about about the life of butterflies. Uh, so, without taking much of the time out here, I would request Sammilan to start. But before that, I would request all to keep your microphones on mute and your videos off. Questions can come in through chat boxes. We will take up the questions at the end of the session. Uh, Sambilan, should I start sharing the screen?
Yeah, please.
Is, is this it or one before? Yes, Sambilan, you can start, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So today I'll be talking about the making of the documentary "Life of Butterflies," which is India's first ever comprehensive documentary on butterflies, which has been exclusively shot from the Butterfly Park here in Belvai in a span of about 4 years, and it took 1 year to work on compiling the videos and also for rest of the works for the documentary to be completed. And I'll also be talking about the making of the Butterfly Park Belvai, which started in the year 2011 and officially inaugurated in the year 2013. Moving on to the next slide. So this is a poster of the life of butterflies. In the photo, you're seeing the autumn leaf butterfly, which arrives every year in the month of July to breed, because we have more than 5,000 Pseudoranthemum malabaricum, the host for this particular species, and you'll see them in very good numbers in August, September, and they'll be there till the month of November. Moving to the next slide. So the documentary Life of Butterflies was released by none other than the Butterfly Man of India, Isaac Kimco, on 20th of September last year at Alwas College, Mudbidri. I was an old student of, I'm the old student of this college, where I was doing a BSc, where I got inspired to study about butterflies. Moving to the next slide. So this is a photo of the release, and you can see Dr. Mohan Alwa at the center. He's the chairman of the Alwas Education Foundation. This was during the release. Moving to the next slide. I was inspired by one of the visitors at the Butterfly Park by name Nitish Kalnad, who used to shoot butterflies in the park when he visited, and he also wanted to do a short documentary on the Butterfly Park. So I was inspired while he was shooting, and he once borrowed my lens, the 100 macro lens, to shoot with his camera. So that is when I also started shooting butterflies after that. And as everyone did, I loved watching documentaries narrated by David. Next slide. Hello, Shantanu. Hello, Shantanu. If you can move to the
Please
next
keep their
slide.
mics on mute. Yes, Sammilan, please go ahead.
Yeah, if you can
Sorry.
move to the next slide. So I started shooting for this documentary in the year 2014 at the Butterfly Park. Next slide. I used about 4 cameras to shoot this documentary, and also phone to capture 2 frames of the common mind caterpillar, exhibiting the defense mechanism of putting out the hospitorium. Yeah, that was shot in my phone. Then one was the Sony RX Mark II camera, Sony RX10 Mark II camera, what you're seeing in the left hand side, and that was mostly used to shoot slow motion videos. And then the Canon 80D, what you're seeing in the photo with 100 mm macro lens, even Canon 70D is used. I later sold my Canon 70D to one of my friends, Aisha Akbar. I couldn't post a picture of that now. So then it was Nikon D750, which was also used to shoot the butterflies. Totally 5 cameras were used to shoot the documentary. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the first ever documentary of its kind. It begins with the introduction to forests and later butterflies. It also speaks about the Western Ghats and also the endemic Malabar Bandit Peacock. It takes you on a journey of life of butterfly, describing the park that is dedicated to butterflies, and also the pre-monsoon arrival of the pre-monsoon showers, triggering butterfly activity, followed by the southwest monsoon. So it goes like a story how actually the butterfly activity starts at the butterfly park. And the duration of this film is 100 minutes, which showcases a lot of natural history of butterfly behavior, their life cycle, and their role in the natural world. Moving to the next slide. I wanted to play this video actually. I hope this will be, this will be. I hope all of you can see the video. But just play it. It isn't playing actually.
No, it is not playing. Normally, Zoom is notorious for not playing videos.
Oh, okay. So it was playing in my computer. Okay, fine. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the aerial view of the of the route which goes to the Butterfly Park. Exactly at that location. We have the total land is 7.35 acres. What has been dedicated to butterflies, and you have about 4 acres of secondary forest. This is a path which goes to the seminar hall actually, and this was all the footages for this documentary was shot by me only, except a few aerial shots. So this was shot by Prithviraj from NIT Surat Kalyuga. If you can move to the next slide. So this is when the shoot was over and the drone was coming down there. With the next slide. So I'm going to share some of the interesting scenes what I shot at the Butterfly Park during the making of this documentary. So a lot of rain shots were also there in the documentary, and you could see the nameplate of the Butterfly Park. And this was shot by me alone. I used to hold umbrella in one hand, and then I had a tripod to shoot this. So many rain shots are shot like this single-handedly. If you can move to the next slide. This is a stream which flows just attached to the Butterfly habitat. So then moving to the next slide. Here's southern birdwing, the largest of all the Indian butterflies, the state butterfly of Karnataka, and also which is endemic to South India. You can see the female southern birding in the range. I remember there was a Kannada TV channel which had come to cover the Butterfly Park, and I shot with this video with a Nikon D750, and this butterfly was sitting for quite a long time because it was continuously raining, continuously pouring, and we saw this butterfly sitting there quite a long time. Moving to the next slide.
Moment.
This is the southern birdwing male. The males of the southern birding are highly territorial. They have a territory, like say for example, like 100-meter radius, and they keep on. Their job is to patrol the area, and they make sure that there is no other male entering the territory. You don't see two southern birdings in a territory. They're not comfortable with each other. You see a combat when intruder comes, especially they just ignore the presence of other butterflies in their territory, but they're very much concerned about another male coming to their territory, and you will see a combat, and you will see them hitting one another. So if a intruding male is strong enough, it might occupy the position by chasing away the existing male. So males normally choose their territory, depending on the availability of the host plant or depending on the availability of the nectar plant. So this male keeps on patrolling the area. It was quite a challenging to shoot it like that, in flight. So there are a lot of flight shots in slow motion where the male patrols the area, and I was fully in the ground shooting, focusing up in the sky, and the butterfly, was flying up there. So this was quite a challenging task to shoot this male southern birding patrolling the area. Moving on to the next slide. This is a female. The story goes like this, okay? The male choosing the territory and patrolling the area and protecting its territory, and the female getting an entry in the territory. And the female is usually a wanderer. It doesn't stay at a place, it keeps on moving in search of the host plants. And but the males normally stay back in an area, in a territory. The males are there, and when any females come, they start displaying, trying to impress the female in the territory. You can see this male entering, a female entering there. And the story goes like this: there is courtship, then there's mating, after that the laying of eggs of the southern birdwing, a lot of things coming up. Moving on to the next slide. Here is the courtship ritual on the flowering plant Clerodendron paniculata. Locally in Kannada we call it as Ratha Pushpa, in Tulu we call it as Terpu. Kind of a chariot shape, so that's how it gets its name. Ratha means chariot. So the female is just sitting, and the male just continuously flaps the wings and starts to display. Move to the next video, next slide. So this is something very interesting what we observed, and this is the first ever recorded behavior, not known to the world of butterflies, where the female was shooting the eggs in the air. Here you can see the grasses. You can also see there is a guava. You can see the trunk of the guava tree, and there are climbers of Aristolochia indica. You can see 2-3 climbers of Aristolochia indica, and you can see the female down there, and she is actually shooting her eggs on the grass blades. This we couldn't notice when we were shooting the butterflies, and later, almost after 2 years, when we started processing the videos, we could see the egg being, shot in the air. It moves in the air and just sticks to the grass blade. So that's very interesting. The female southern birdwing normally lays eggs away from the host, not exactly on the host, because the parasitic wasp, would normally be searching the eggs of the southern birdwing to lay their eggs, and so that's the reason why the female might lay eggs away from the host. And here she just releases the egg on the grass blades to escape threats from the parasitic wasp. That's very interesting, where the female is known to shoot her eggs because she cannot perch on the grass blade because of her weight. She uses the technique of shooting the eggs in the air onto the grass blades. Next. Here there is an egg laid on, on Ziziphus, on the dry fig of the Ziziphus, and you can see the parasitic female laying her eggs on the egg of the southern birdwing. This was also shot, and also the parasitic was coming out of the egg, very clearly shot in the documentary. And that's a wonderful story how these parasitic wasps keep the southern birding population under control. Maybe the next slide. This is also something very interesting what we saw. So normally when the caterpillar or the southern birdwing, it comes down and cuts the climber. So it is told that, because the Aristolochia indica, the climber being highly toxic, the caterpillar want to reduce the toxicity of the climber. It might cut the stem and start feeding on the host later. But interestingly, this caterpillar, the financer caterpillar, which was just was about to go in search of a hideout for pupation, it ensured that it cut the climber before it goes to pupation. So this is mostly because to avoid competition, to avoid any other females in the territory to lay the eggs, so that the climber dies. Climber dies usually, and new a new tender shoots comes up later. That's a different thing. But the whole climber is gone up there, and there is no chance for the female southern birdwing to lay her eggs then. So this is mostly to avoid competition. The southern birdwing final star caterpillar, just before which is about to go to the pupation process, cuts the stem of the climber Aristolochia indica. Very interesting. Moving on to the next photo. This was also interesting. Here you can see the ants, the weaver ants actually, they are near to the caterpillar of the southern birdwing. And so also these weaver ants kill a lot of caterpillars of southern birdwing and eat them up. But luckily for this caterpillar, the ants didn't attack this caterpillar, and they just left. So this caterpillar was about to pupate, and it has settled down in a place, and it was about to start weaving the silk thread, where the ants came near to the caterpillar, and they were there for almost like 1 to 3 yards, each one of them coming, and they didn't attack though, but they were there for a very long time. So the caterpillar was lucky to be saved. So the weaver ants control also play an important role in controlling this birdworm population, where they kill the caterpillars. Most caterpillars are killed here on Aristolochia indica by the weaver ants also, because they don't have birds as predator, as they are toxic. There are other predators which naturally control their population. Moving to the next photo. This is one amazing video what we got to capture. Here you can see the top dorsal area of the caterpillar of the southern birdwing. It just stays off, the skin just stays off and comes out during the pupation process. And the caterpillar ensures that the skin is completely thrown out. After the pupa ensures that, in fact, the outside skin is completely thrown out. Moving to the next slide. Here I placed 2 cameras where the southern birdwing had emerged out of the chrysalis, and the male southern birdwing, and there were 2 cameras placed, a Sony RX10 Mark II and the Canon 80D. And you can see the southern birdwing is just spitting out the liquid, that's the meconium liquid. This was for a emergency takeoff, I can say, because there are a lot of babblers. There are a lot of babblers actually waiting to attack the southern birdwing, though babblers are not known to attack southern birdwings. There are reports where the babblers, the frogs have eaten the southern birdwing. Also, the birds have eaten the southern birdwing. This southern birdwing, couldn't fly because it was just about a half an hour or 45 minutes back. It had closed, and you can see for an emergency takeoff, it just spits out the liquid and just falls onto the ground to avoid these babblers. You can see in the next photo where the babbler is coming there and appearing. So somebody is putting some lines on the screen. Okay, so you have to disable the annotation, Shantanu. So here you can see the babbler which has come, and near the empty exoskeleton of the southern birdwing. It is sitting and looking at this empty exoskeleton. When southern birdwing butterfly was down actually on the ground, the babblers couldn't attack the southern birdwing because it was just in the grass was there. Moving to the next photo. This was an interesting video what we got. I remember Girish Matti being with me. He's one of the good macro photographer from Bangalore, and we were just set the camera and waiting for the first flight of the southern birding. And just before the butterfly took its first flight, I was with my Sony RX10 Mark II camera for a slow motion capture, and the butterfly put out the liquid, the meconium liquid, for the one last time before the takeoff. And that we got an amazing capture of this. It is unfortunate that I'm not able to show you the videos. I'm just showing you the screenshots shared here. If you watch the documentary, or if you are already watched the documentary, you know how beautiful it is actually, the first flight of the southern birding and expelling the meconium liquid. That is a wonderful video what shot we got, which I will remember forever. That was very interesting. Okay, moving to the next photo. This was something also again interesting and unusual. Normally, males of the milkweed butterflies are known to alkaloid suck, but here there is a female which was down near an alkaloid-rich plant where it was sucking alkaloids from the droppings of the moth caterpillars. So moth caterpillars are known to feed on these alkaloid-rich plants like Crotalaria or Heliotropium indicum. And here in this case, it was Heliotropium indicum plant. There was droppings actually, and this blue tiger female, she was on the ground and sucking alkaloids from the droppings of the caterpillars of the moth. That's interesting. Moving to the next video, next photo. So this is also an amazing video what I could capture. The blue Nawab butterfly, which was recorded for the second time at the Butterfly Park in the year 2015. Of course, the first record was in the year 2013. I was shooting the blue Nawab, and there's a weaver ant which was nearby. The blue Nawab was on the jackfruit, sipping liquid from the rotten jackfruit, and the weaver ant caught the proboscis of the butterfly. But the blue Nawab, instead of flying away, it just fought back to the ant, and it could kick away the ant and then continue sipping liquid from the rotten jackfruit. That was really wonderful to see a blue Nawab defending itself so well from the weaver ant. Moving on to the next photo, you can see then the ant just walks away, where if there is a video, you could see how the ant is being already actually kicked by the blue Nawab, and the ant just walks away from there. Moving to the next slide. Another interesting thing what we observed here was the dominance of the female red spot duke. The red spot duke, both, this is a male, the below what you're seeing is a male red spot duke, and the upper one is a female red spot duke. The female was very dominant, and she was like getting near to the male, and she was about to hit her, and the male refrained a counterattack, and it just flew away. That was very nice to see that behavior of these butterflies. If you can see the next video, you can see the female. Next slide. You can see how the male refrained itself from a counterattack, and it just flew away later. Moving to the next video. Next slide. This is a female tawny raja, and you could see the hind wing of this butterfly. It is cut in the shape of the beak of the bird. So that's an indication that it might have been attacked by a bird or some green vine snake also, cannot say. And you can see both the wings, hind wings, cut in the shape of the beak of the bird. This butterfly used to visit almost like for up to a week at the Butterfly Park, and I got to videograph this unique shape of this being actually, where it has escaped the threats from predators. Tawny rajas are strong butterflies, and they don't give up so easily. So this is the story of the survival story of the tawny raja female here, what you're seeing. Moving to the next slide. This was something also unusual, like the yam fly here is sipping liquid, the sap from the Dioscorea. And these caterpillars of the yam fly are nearby. You can see it was in the night. It was almost like 8:30 and in the evening, 8:30 in the evening, and the butterfly was still active. So normally butterflies are diurnal; they're active during the daytime. But this was something interesting, where the yam fly continued to sap liquid even at night. So even when I came at around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So the same butterfly was still sipping the liquid. So that was interesting to note. Go to the next slide. We have a wonderful habitat of this autumn leaf, and I always love to shoot is autumn leaf breeding, where the females, before laying eggs. So normally, how the female butterfly should visualize the plant to lay eggs. So she looking for the shape of the leaf, and then the final conformation of the host plant will be done by the butterfly with the help of its forelegs, which is called chemoreceptors. So if you see normally in Nymphalidae family, there are only two pairs of legs which are active, but the first pair of legs are actually used to touch the host and know whether it is a host plant or not, for the female especially. As you can see in the next photo, moving to the next slide, the female autumn leaf here, you can see there are two pairs of legs, and the first pair of legs which has come out, normally it is folded, it comes out and it touches the leaf tip, and it just checks whether it is a host or not. This is a female autumn leaf. She's trying to lay her eggs on Pseudoranthum malabaricum. So just before she lays the egg, you can see her putting out the four legs there and touching the plant. That's interesting, as you can see. Or else normally the two pairs of legs are active, but this is where the first pair of legs also is active, where it is very much used to touch the host and confirm whether it is a host or not. Moving on to the next slide. Taking this video in the field, I spent almost like a whole night. I was waiting for the Tamil lacewing caterpillars to come out, and it was raining continuously. I was there for a whole night waiting for the caterpillars, but the caterpillars only came out in the daytime when it was around like 6:37 in the morning. The caterpillars came out, so we had a long wait, and I also successfully captured the caterpillar emergence from the eggs of the Tamil lacewing. The egg was laid on passion flower climber. Next slide, please. These are the caterpillars of the Tamil lacewing feeding on the passion flower climber, and you can see there's a diachama ant which has caught the caterpillar of the Tamil lacewing. So we have captured the entire footage where the ant comes there and attacks the caterpillar and takes the caterpillar so down there, and so this is how the Tamil lacewing caterpillar finished off all the caterpillars of the Tamil lacewing. So not even a single caterpillar remained. The diachama ant was very active, catching caterpillar continuously. Moving to the next photo. This was shot from my phone. This caterpillar of common mime was responding to sounds. So if you talk loudly, this caterpillar was continuously putting the osmotorium out, trying to give that pungent smell. Just before, when you raise your voice, the osmotorium expelling the osmotorium is regularly is putting out its osmotorium. Once there is silent, the osmotorium goes back and settles down. So it was responding to the sound. So that's pretty interesting to see how the caterpillars also respond to the sound. They can catch the sound. Moving on to the next photo.
Sammilan, just check if you have the remote control of the screen.
Pardon?
Just check if you have the remote control of the screen. Can you go forward and backwards in the screen? I have handed over the remote control to you.
Yes. It's working now. Thank you.
Okay.
So this is a caterpillar of the three-spore gracile. There are a lot of caterpillars on a plant of the three-spore gracile. It's again not working, Shantanu. Shantanu?
Yes.
It's not working again.
I got no clue. It's remote controlled by Sammilan. So
okay.
Should I put it forward?
No, go back.
Okay.
One more slide. So this is the caterpillar three-spore gracile. It came down and it was the plants on the host all got over, and there were many caterpillars. There were like 50 to 60 caterpillars, and few caterpillars just climbed down the plant and they started feeding on the Mimosa pudica touchscreen nut plant, choosing an alternate host. That is the time when the diachama ant spots this caterpillar and it attacks it. Moving on to the next slide. and it takes away the caterpillar of the cheese progressing. Moving on to the next slide, Shantanu.
Just a moment.
Yeah, so this is the attack of the dichoma. Okay, moving to the next. This is also one interesting thing where the Malabar Bandit swallowtail is breeding on, is laying eggs on Citrus medica, not a reported host for this butterfly. You can see the Malabar Bandit swallowtail displays a very unique egg-laying behavior. It lays eggs one upon the other, forming that unique structure. That's very interesting to note. So this is for the first time we recorded where the Citrus medica is used as a host by the Malabar Bandit swallowtail, which is endemic to Western Ghats. Moving to the next slide. You can see the praying mantis. Long time has been spent shooting these predator attacking on butterflies. The praying mantis sit near the flowers, wait patiently for the butterflies to come. This is a mantis, what you can see here, very well camouflaged, just near to the lantana flowers. And there's a tailed jay, which is about to sit on the nectar plant or about to sit on the flower lantana, and you can see the mantis attacking the butterfly in the next slide. If you can move to the next slide. So I spent hours together shooting these things. If you can also move to the next slide, there's a crab spider. Shantanu, the next slide. There's a crab spider very patiently waiting on the flower, waiting for the butterfly to get close to it. The crab butterfly vision is not that good as ours, so the gray pansy was not able to detect this ambush which is lying motionless. So I almost spent about 4 to 5 hours shooting this where the crab spider attacks the gray pansy at one moment. So these crab spider or the praying mantis, they normally sit near the flowers because they know that the butterflies should come there for a nectarine. Okay, moving to the next slide. This is one more interesting thing what I enjoyed videographing. The symbiotic relationship between the caterpillar of the Lycender family and the ants. The weaver ants are all on the caterpillar, so there is no way the wasp would attack the caterpillar. So this is a very interesting symbiotic relationship, what we all know about it. And in return, as a protection fee, the ants get the seed secretion, honeydew secretion from the caterpillar. If you can move on to the next slide, you can see how beautifully it was captured, where the weaver ant takes the honeydew secretion from the caterpillar. Move to the next slide. So this is the caterpillar of the common ciliate blue on Diascorea, and the weaver ant are always patrolling near to that area. But if you look at the next slide, that was something unusual we shot. Here you can see this caterpillar of the common ciliate blue attacked by the weaver ants. I watched them, it was in the evening actually. I watched them continuously patrolling the area, and everything was fine. Honeydew secretion was being given by the caterpillar, but unfortunately for the caterpillar, one of the ants started lifting it. Okay, probably for to be carried to the ant nest. So there are reports where the caterpillars have been carried by the ants and they place them inside the ant nest where they ensure more security to the caterpillar. But unfortunately, one of the ants just punctured the skin of the caterpillar. This is something unusual actually, where the ants actually damaged the caterpillar and they almost killed it. One of them, one which you're seeing at the center, it actually punctured the caterpillar. And also, then later other ants also started, not handling the caterpillar gently, and they just like they were attacking and trying to eat it up. So this was very unusual, and a lot of these unusual things happened during the shoot. If you can move to the next video. So we end with this. So here are a few clicks shot by this. I actually lost all my data from my phone, where a lot of photos were clicked in the field also, where I wish to shoot the butterflies in the field. Moving to the next slide. This is the viewer end shot. Moving to the next slide. So this is, I used to put a chair and sit there for hours together shooting these caterpillars. Okay, next. This was when I was shooting the rains. This is how I used to shoot in the rains, in the streams there up. Going to the next. So this was my setup for shooting, getting some, sliding shots. all the chairs used. This, you can see the southern birding there, and with the slider and the chairs there. Next. Let me just talk a little about the butterfly, making of the butterfly park in Belvai. This butterfly park. You know, it's a natural habitat for butterflies. Majority of the trees what you see are not planted. Like almost about 90% of the plants have been conserved from years, which are naturally formed. So conserving natural flora is very much important to see a sustaining butterfly population. This is what we followed during the whole week also. Moving to the next slide.
Just a moment.
So I developed interest in butterflies during my BSc at Alus College in Mudabidri. After I was allotted a project and study of butterflies by my zoology lecturer, Shri Asok CH. I've been observing butterflies keenly since then. Moving to the next slide. Next slide, Shantanu.
Just a moment.
This one was my first photograph of the Malabar Bandit Peacock. It was in 2011 with the Kodak EasyShare digital camera. What I used to, there was a wild patch of this Sclerodendron viscosa flowering plant, and many butterflies used to visit there. And one of them was the Malabar Bandit Peacock. It was my first ever photograph of the Malabar Bandit Peacock. This butterfly inspires me a lot, and I never get tired seeing this butterfly. You see it regular. You see it as a regular visitor at the butterfly park. Usually, you'll see them in good numbers in August, September, and you see them almost like till December, and even in January. Once in a while, you spot this Malabar Bandit Peacock, which is endemic to Western Ghats. Though it is endemic to Western Ghats, it's more common in the coastal line of the Western Ghats, where a lot of Xanthosellum redsa, its host plant, is been found. Moving to the next slide. This is one book that inspired to start the conservation work on butterflies. The Book of Indian Butterflies, authored by Isaac Hemker. So I know many got inspired through this book. I was also one among them who got inspired from this book. Going to the next slide. So how this butterfly park project started was, after coming across the book on Indian butterflies, which I bought for the identification purpose. There he mentions about butterfly conservation in the book. This thought just went in my how about creating a butterfly habitat. So we started collecting seeds from different locations, seeds of Aristolochia indica, seeds of Crotalaria, and we also started collecting saplings. You can see Ramakrishna Marathe is a scientific officer at Pellicula Nisargadama, one which is standing at the center, and he helped me to get a lot of saplings, the host plants, from Pellicula and from the various other places also. A lot of friends who helped me to get the plant saplings and also get seeds, and more than that, retention of the natural habitat is very much important. That's what we have been doing right from the day one. Moving to the next slide. There are some photos to be shared. Here, the aerial shot by Dr. Prithviraj. This is our house actually. I think I'm not able to, and I'm not getting that cursor in. Okay, Shantanu has to just move the cursor for that. Okay. Anyways, the one which is at the center is the seminar hall there, and the tile roof what you're seeing, right? So that is one at the left hand side is the house, and almost 4 acres of secondary forest, and remaining area is a paddy field. If we can move to the next slide. Earlier, which was a paddy field, which was slowly converted to butterfly habitat. So let me just show you some memories. This was in 2011, and we could. My mom used to cut jackfruits and used to just keep it there. We had cattle at home, which would be put to cattle later. And during this time, we saw many butterflies. I was not familiar with a few of them, like the red spot duke or the clipper. That was in almost in 2009-10. Okay, and there are many butterflies which used to come on these, jackfruits. And this cruiser photo, what you're seeing, the photo of the cruiser was clicked by my mom. My mom was also interested in butterflies. She also used to click butterfly photos. She used to click, but take butterfly videos also, where they, mostly on the alkali rich plants where a lot of butterflies used to gather. Moving to the next slide. This was in 2011 when we created a sample butterfly habitat. Moving to the next slide. My mom and my brother supported me in this unique effort. There was also great support coming out from my friends, butterfly enthusiasts across the nation. Media also played a very important role in promoting our work on conservation of butterflies. Moving to the next slide. This was Irshad Akbar who is holding the camera up there, and his brother Adil Akbar. Another person was Rakesh Koneche. They were the first visitors at the Butterfly Park. It was in 2011. The Butterfly Park was not still open for public viewing, but they had called me up and they had visited. They were the first visitors for the Butterfly Park. Of course, it was inaugurated in 2013. Moving to the next slide. Here you can see me with the Rajendra Valekar sir, Makaran Kulkarni, and my friend Dr. Prashant Bhatt. We had visited the Vailkarwadi Butterfly Garden in Thane, and I was impressed by this concept of an open area butterfly park. Rajendra sir, moving to the next slide. Rajendra sir helped me to setting up this. You know, he gave his ideas to start this butterfly park initially. I'm here with Isaac's the most inspiring personality in the year 2011. Moving to the next slide. So this was in 2012. Rajendra sir visited our house, and we had a lot of discussions about creating butterfly habitats. The photo on the left-hand side was clicked by one of the photographers from Bangalore Mirror. They were the second to carry the news about the butterfly park. The first was the Udayani Kannada newspaper, and then the Bangalore newspaper carried the article about the butterfly park. Moving to the next slide. So this is when we met Hanish sir, who also guided to create this habitat. Many people inspired, like Dr. Saji, Balakrishnan sir, and Ashok sir. Many of us, I was in touch with most of the people, and a lot of inspiration came out there. A lot of support came out for creating such a butterfly habitat. Moving to the next slide. This was a photo taken in 2012 again. You can see Ashok sir there. And at the right hand side, you can see Dr. Milind Bakre. Moving to the next slide. So this was how it was looking in the summer of 2013. The paddy field was slowly converted into a butterfly habitat with a lot of native flora and a lot of nectar plants and host plants. Moving to the next slide. This was in the monsoon. Okay, this is how it looks in the monsoon. It's more greenish, and now also in monsoon it will be more greener. It's just natural. In the summer it will be dry, less butterflies. June to November is usually the season for butterflies. Next. So this was during the inauguration. Isaac sir was the one who inaugurated the butterfly park, and Dr. Subbalakshmi Velu, she presided over the inauguration there, and from then onwards, from August 18th onwards, we are officially open all day, on Sundays. Earlier it was like only on calls, but the registration used to take place only on calls. But later, every Sunday, people started coming, and from past 3 years, it's been open all days actually. Okay, going to the next slide. So here I'll just read out a few facts about the Butterfly Park. The Butterfly Park that was started in 2011 is situated at Belvai village, Dakshina Kannada district, Karnataka, which was officially inaugurated in 2013, though conservation work was started in 2011. A total of 7.35 acres was dedicated to this butterfly habitat. It's just a natural habitat for butterflies and other wildlife forms, and no dome or enclosure is maintained. Propagation of more native plants related to butterflies is still in progress. There are a lot of support coming from the forest department also. It might be the forest guard or the forester. They've made a lot of host plants, native host plants. They've been giving us host plants since 3 to 4 years now, where we have been propagating them, and also encouraging others to propagate the native plants. works to inspire the general public and students to conserve native flora. More than 150 species of butterflies have been recorded till date. Moving to the next slide. So this was when the Butterfly Park got featured in Times Now, one of the leading news channels. That was in 2013, where this was a photo when shooting took place, mostly I think in the month of December it was. Okay, moving to the next slide. So this is our seminar hall where our visitors, we give a talk about the butterflies. We just give basic introduction, and then we take them in the field and try to relate them what we have shown in the videos here. So the video presentation will be normally for for half an hour, and which is followed by the interaction with the visitors, and then they'll be taken in the field. So if batch like this, if it's a big group coming out, then we have volunteers who take them in batches in the field. Okay, go to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So these are few of the photos. You can just keep on moving, Shantanu. I conclude with this. Is my brother Sammilan Shetty in the field. He has also supported a lot financially, to make this butterfly park. Going to the next slide. This is Bodybuilding and Butterfly here. Jackfruit. Next, you can keep on moving. So here are some of the best photos from the butterfly park. So this is a courtship ritual of the common Mormon. Going to the next slide. The striped tiger, the Malabar Bandit solitaire.
This is which caterpillar?
Caterpillar of autumn leaf, having their first meal. Caterpillar of autumn leaf. Caterpillar of southern birdwing. Pupa of the southern birdwing. That is a pupa stage of the southern birdwing. The butterfly coming out of the pupa, the southern birdwing. The male spitting out the liquid before taking the flight. So these are courtship picture, the state butterfly of Karnataka, the male and female. The Malabar Bandit Peacock. Blue Mormon, blue water. Orange Audit. This was the 150th record in the Butterfly Park. The female red spot tube. Go to the next slide. Got even female. Autumn leaf. This is a
crab spider.
Disabled cat.
Again, a crab spider.
Yeah, the crab spider, the great egg fly catch. The giant tooth spider with the red Helen. This is a southern birding being attacked by the wasp. You can see the cocoons of the wasp. So yeah, I think yeah, this is I would just want to talk about that spider. This is the first ever recorded behavior. So normally the spider feeding on the eggs. The spider feeding on the eggs. Next. What are the next slide? Next. This is the spider feeding on the eggs of the tawny coster. So normally spiders are known to feed on something which is moving. It is very unusual. It was feeding on the eggs of the tawny coster. So we have the last slide, then we finish up the presentation here. Next. Next. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
If there are any questions, okay, Sammilan, let me ask you, how many species of butterflies has been recorded from the Belvai National Park till now?
So it is 151 species recorded so far. 151,
151.
151 species so far.
And how many life cycles have you seen completed there? How many
I'm
species?
not much into life cycle, so we have documented the early stages of many butterflies.
Okay.
We have seen the early stages of the orchid butterflies, some interesting species, and of the autumn leaf, you get to see it regularly, even of the Malabar Bandit peacock. Uh, the butterfly. Usually, what happens is the Malabar Bandit peacock, lays the eggs in the canopy, but it also sometimes lays eggs at a lower level, maybe at the thorn of the Xanthosellum red star, and the caterpillars by instinct move up in the canopy, and it makes the Malabar Bandit peacock caterpillar difficult to be spotted. So we have also seen the early stages of the Malabar Bandit peacock. I've been seeing it almost every year, the early stage of the Malabar Bandit peacock, and also the Paris peacock is known to breed on a plant called Melicopeluna onkende. So that has been happening from past 2 years. Even the Malabar Bandit's swallowtails have been breeding regularly this year, and there are more than 100 eggs laid by the Malabar Bandit swallowtail. So a lot of early stages or southern birding also. Southern birdings are more common than the common rose or the crimson rose. The southern birdings are the commonest butterflies when you compare to common rose and crimson rose. You'll see a lot of caterpillars, eggs, early stages here at the butterfly park.
Okay. Nagaraj Veeraswamy asks, when is the best time to visit the butterfly park?
So June to November is the best time to visit, and normally August, September are the peak months. You see great activity in September. Out of all the 6 months, you see September a lot of butterfly activity. In a day, you might record just in the butterfly park. You might record up to 70 species of butterflies.
Aaron
Hello,
Menezes
sir.
says,
Good evening, sir.
Aaron Menezes says, do you save butterflies from predators?
No, that's not our job. Our job is to only create habitats for the butterflies. So that's the predators feeding on the caterpillars or the eggs or the pupa is just normal. It's been happening for millions of years, which has to happen. We are not going to intervene with that. That's natural.
Sammilan,
Yes.
can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm just asking, have you, do you have any idea of coming out with these photos as in the form of any charts for students?
In the form of brochure?
Charts, I mean, in the sense, so easily they don't get the text, books and all. They're all costlier for the South Karnataka students and all.
Definitely.
If you prepare some charts, affordable price, I think everybody will be made aware to know the different type of butterflies from our region.
Certainly, I'll keep this in mind and see to that we come up with some charts. Thank you, sir. He's my
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Ashok, thank you and welcome.
Good evening.
You are the teacher that Sammilan keeps on talking about.
Yeah, nice to hear his achievements. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Good evening,
coming.
sir.
Good evening.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, this common mime butterfly is there, sir. You have said that osmoteria is responsive to the sounds.
Yes, yes.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir, it is a very good, interesting fact, sir. Excellent, sir. I congratulate you, sir, and for your good effort, sir. It is a great effort. Generally, we used to see this citrus butterfly whenever we used to touch that osmoteria, it will come out and it will show the osmoteria outside, sir, and it will give the bad odor.
Yes,
when
yes.
coming to this common mime, sir, it is giving responses to the sound, sir. So what type of sound, whether it is a music, whether it is a different kind of sound, have you been documented that one, sir?
We have the video of that. Actually, from my phone, all the data got deleted. But these two videos of the mine, I had stored it in my email, and you can just see how when we talk, the caterpillar is just responding. So that's amazing. The caterpillar can sense the sound. Okay, so that's for the first time I was experiencing this. This was something interesting.
Hello.
Or else if you blow on the caterpillar also, the ospitorium is exerted out. If you disturb the caterpillar, or if you blow the caterpillar, if you touch the caterpillar. But this was something different. Like we are just talking, and the caterpillar. There were like 4 to 5 of us actually together with us, and we could see this behavior of the caterpillar. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Reshma Shetty asks, have you recorded moth species on this region?
No, we are not focused yet on moths. We are more concentrated about butterflies as of now. So maybe in near future, we might also start documenting moths in the area. A lot of moths needs to be documented, so which we have not been doing yet. Maybe in the near future.
Great.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Mrs. Vaishali Sawan. Thank you for your session. I want to know how to grow or increase butterflies in a home garden. What to do?
See, you will have to concentrate on the native flora. That's very important. If you don't have a natural habitat, you have to try to create one. What is the land you have? What is the area of land?
5,000 square feet.
Okay, so you'll have to you can concentrate on the nectar plants, more on the nectar plants like hibiscus or ixora. If you put ixora, ixora would attract right from a smaller Hesperidae to the biggest swallowtails would get attracted to ixora. So then you can also concentrate on more of very common plants like the lime plants or the curry leaf plants, the cinnamon. Cinnamon is known to host 2 species of butterflies. If you take lime plant, it is known to host up to about 4 species of butterflies. You take curry leaf, it hosts common mormon and lime swallowtail. Then you have put some false ashoka, you'll see the tail jay coming. Are you located in an urban area or in a village area?
No, in village area. Ujni is Ujni dam backwater.
You can also see the blue bottles, the common jays visiting to lay eggs if you put some false ashoka. So these are the common plants you will have to plant initially. So then as time passes, you'll get an idea what to plant and what not to plant. So it's a long process. It's not about in a day or two you learn creating butterfly habitats, but it's a long process. It's a learning process. You can.
Sir, I have Spathodia. Yeah, what? I have Spathodia, Ticoma, and many flowers. Plants of flowers. Yeah, means
Are you seeing any butterflies coming on that?
Yeah, more butterflies are coming. I just want to grow in numbers.
Okay, you can if you see them, you can put them in a row. You can see yourself on which plant the butterflies would come more, and you can concentrate on those plants also. And if you can put some, we normally don't suggest people adding lantana. Don't go for a wild lantana. It's very invasive, not suggested, not recommended. But you can go for some ornamentals, potted. You can put the lantana in a pots, ornamental variety, which doesn't produce seeds to be on safer side, so that it doesn't get dispersed outside. So lantana is one of the favorite plants of butterflies also, which yield flowers throughout the year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Very, very interesting question, Sammilan from Priya. She asks, is there a specific incident that you remember that made you decide that this is what you wanted to do and make you change your line of work?
Okay. See, right from a child, there was no such an incident I can say. Right from my childhood days, I was born and brought up in such an environment in a village area where I was very much exposed to a lot of wildlife. So my first interest were fishes actually. When as a child, I used to most of the time I spent if other people my friends used to play and all other games. Like I used to be near the field. I used to be near the streams catching fishes. This was my hobby actually during my childhood days, and this continued like this, and I suddenly got exposed to butterflies because of my project which was allotted to me, and that is where I started learning about butterflies and got interested in butterflies. So then the turning point was also, I can say, buying Isaac's book, which mentions about conservation of butterflies. That could be a turning point.
Okay, Mr. Jayan Prasad asks, says, congratulations, very inspiring work. How many species of flora do you have in your park?
There might be more than 300 species of flora. We don't have exact count because there are many other flora which needs to be identified yet. So there might be up to 300 species of flora.
Ashwin ji, I have heard that the caterpillars of butterflies look ugly and caterpillars of moths are pretty colorful. Is it true? How to differentiate between the caterpillars of moths and butterflies?
Okay, so one thing is that it's not that he's telling that butterfly caterpillars are ugly or moth caterpillars.
The butterfly caterpillars are ugly and moth caterpillars are beautiful, colorful.
No, it all depends on how you look at the creature. For some, it might be butterfly caterpillars. There are many beautiful caterpillars of the butterflies. Like you take the Malabar Bandit swallowtail, those are very beautiful caterpillars. Even the Malabar raven. A lot of other caterpillars like common mime, which are very beautiful looking caterpillars, I can say. Differentiating between these two caterpillars, one thing normally for a layman, so if there are a lot of hairs found in the caterpillar, so usually it is a moth. Okay, and there are some exceptional cases. If you take a caterpillar of the southern duffer, it exactly looks like a moth caterpillar. So that's an exceptional case. So normally a lot of hairs are found in the caterpillars of the moths. And one more thing is that the moth, this caterpillar hairs in the body of the moth caterpillars causes skin irritation, whereas butterfly caterpillars are completely harmless creatures. And if you are also aware of the host fronts, then you can also easily tell whether it's a butterfly caterpillar or a moth caterpillar. And there are certain morphological differences between the caterpillars of the moths and butterflies also. The butterfly caterpillars are more of like they have spikes, there are a lot of patterns instead of hairs, unlike that of the moth caterpillars. So these are few of the differences what you have to look for. And another thing, butterfly caterpillars are very hygienic. Most of them, there might be some exceptional cases, they keep their surrounding very much clean. But if you see some of the moth caterpillars, they're very unhygienic. They excrete there and they remain there with the excreta. Of course, there is a caterpillar of the commander butterfly which doesn't throw the excreta but use it for a defense. But it's also a cleaner caterpillar, so that's another thing.
Questions are coming up about how people can see your documentary and where they can find it.
See, initially now actually we have plans to tie up with something like Amazon Prime or like that. So, but still we are not gone with that. So we are waiting for the copyright certificate now. So all the process have been completed. So once the copyright certificate is done, we'll have to come up with some plans. So right now we are not leaving it on YouTube or anywhere like that because we want to raise some funds. I have spent almost 5 years and we have done quite a investment on making this film actually. So we just want to raise some funds to that documentary. So this is for sale. The documentary copies are for sale right now. So one copy with the customized pen drive, or it will be sent to your mail also. The payment is 800 rupees per copy, and the documentary, the payment will be done to the trust account. We are working under Nature Conservation Trust, that is SSBCRT, which is a registered trust. So the payment will be done to the trust account, and after that, the documentary copy will be sent to anybody who is interested to purchase the documentary can directly contact me. My telephone number is, if you Google search Sammilan Shetty contact number, you will get the telephone number. There's from the website also, our own website. If you just type Butterfly Park, if you Google search from our website also, you can get my contact number. So you can contact me directly. You can WhatsApp me or you can call me for the copy of the documentary.
Okay. Question from Aaron Menezes. How to find host plants for a particular geographical area for butterflies?
So it will all depend on how much you follow the butterflies. Depending on the geographical area, the host plant might also change sometimes. So some of the common butterflies might prefer the similar host, but as the region changes, the host plant might change also in some areas if the host plants are not available. So you'll have to start observing the butterflies, document butterflies in area initially. There are a lot of books which you can refer to. If you have, for example, if you have a blue mormon in the area, so then you will have to, you can refer the books and search for the host plants. You can search for the host plants for the particular blue mormon. You can focus on that. So you can focus on when you make a butterfly habitat. See to that you put the host plants. Before that, you do a survey. What are the butterfly species found in the area, and which are the butterflies regularly visiting your area? So concentrate on the host plant of those butterflies, not something which is new. So that is how it goes. I hope you got your answer.
Okay, what is your favorite butterfly, Surabhi Balaji?
My favorite butterfly is many favorite butterfly, but my best favorite is the Malabar Bandit Peacock, which is also the logo of the Butterfly Park, the butterfly which inspires me a lot. And it is also the state butterfly of Kerala.
So mostly the chat questions are over. If anybody has any further questions, they can unmute themselves and ask the questions. If not, that we would need to close the session.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Raksha.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. I want to
Your voice is breaking. I think better. Your voice is breaking. If you can.
You can chat. Write it in the chat, Raksha.
Yes, sir. I'll text you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Any other questions from anybody?
I'm reading a message from Shakti Uma. Sammilan Shetty's Butterfly Park being a national butterfly is an awe-inspiring place, wildlife garden. Sammilan's team of interns and parks family are get close. Okay. She doesn't have any question. She's just telling about the butterfly park.
Ashwin ji says that oleander hawk moth has been predated by cockles. How to prevent that? Don't
prevent it. It's natural. Don't prevent it. Let it happen. The cockle has to live, right? Let it happen. It's natural. Life of Butterflies documentary is to be screened at all schools combined with the field trip. Definitely. If anybody is interested to screen it, they are most welcome. We are there to support and screen the movie for the schools. If anybody is interested, you can contact me directly.
Okay. Dipanjali Biswas asks, do you suggest or oppose planting? I mean, I think you answered this question during some time back. Do you suggest or oppose planting lantana in a butterfly park, as it is an excellent nectar plant but an invasive species?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend planting lantanas, especially the wild lantanas, but you can put the ornamental varieties, which doesn't produce seeds at all, because these birds might feed on the seeds and they might disperse the seeds in other places, feed on the fruit. So go for an ornamental lantana if you are interested to put some lantana, or else if you can put more native flora, native nectar plant, that will be great. But if you still want to put some lantana, put an ornamental variety. Don't put an wild variety which might be invasive. And as far as I have seen, if you take this coastal line of the Western Ghats, the lantanas don't do that well like what you see in other places. Of course, I agree that they are very invasive in some areas, but not probably in all the areas. So the weather conditions should also be favorable. If you take the coastal line, this coastal strip of the Western Ghats, you see the floss flower as an invasive species, the floss flower, Ephotorium. That's an invasive species, more than the lantanas. They will kill the lantana, the floss flowers.
two related questions. Any good book on butterfly with host plant details, and any books for reference could you name?
All books are good. You have Isaac's book, you have Dr. Milinbakr's book. Every book is good in its own way. Any book you can refer. So all, even Isaac's book carry the host plant list. Dr. Milinbakr's book carries the host plant list of the butterflies. So any books you refer, you'll get to know about the host plants.
Okay, Firoz thanks you. Firoz says, thank you, Sammilan, for inspiring me to watch butterflies. Looking forward to visit park soon.
Sure. See you, Firoz.
Okay. Vikas says, he wants to know the distribution of southern birdwing.
It is just it's very common in the in the Western Ghats, belt, and also it's you will find it even in Bangalore, and almost in near to Western Ghats and outside Western Ghats also. But you can call it as an endemic species to South India.
Murli, what an interesting question. Whether southern birdwing is attracted at dark color flowers like red hibiscus or pagoda flowers. Even bigger butterflies like blue mormon, Malabar raven, and red helen comes to red flowers.
Okay. Okay, color might be one point, and also the nectar component. Of course, you see southern birdwings coming on almost all nectar plants. They not only come upon the red-looking Clerodendron paniculatum or the red hibiscus, but they come to different colors of hibiscus. It's not necessarily they come only on red hibiscus. They also come on balsam. The southern birdwings, the blue mormon, also comes on balsam. If you're familiar with this particular. In Kannada, we call it as Gaurihu. So that also will attract the southern birding. You take southern birding, they come on white flowers, the Clerodendron viscosum. Clerodendron paniculatum, of course, are red. So it's not necessarily they only come on red flowers. They might come on variety of flowers. But they might avoid some of the nectar plants, like they don't come on Premna ceratifolia, where all the milkweeds, tail jays come on that. Tail jays are less interested in Clerodendron paniculatum, Clerodendron viscosum. So it varies. You cannot say that they might only come up on the red flowers, the southern birdwings.
Okay, Priya has got her hand raised. Priya, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and please ask.
You had said that the butterflies taste the host plant with their legs and then they go about laying. So what about the butterflies that, like you talked about the birdwing shooting eggs? So does it only find it through the smells and then do it, or does it still go ahead and do this tasting and then do the shooting nearby?
So not necessarily. It would have tasted it earlier also. So what happens, first thing the southern birding female does is it visualizes like what is the shape of the leaf. So I've seen many a time this common rose, crimson rose, the southern birding getting confused with some other climber which is similar to Aristolochia indica. But as they approach the plant, they get to know it is not actually their host. But once it is confirmed that the host is nearby, they touch the plant and they ensure that this is the host, then they might lay the eggs away from the host. So they know that they shouldn't be laying the eggs directly on the host. Okay, so that's the reason why they lay eggs away from the host. Most of the times, the southern birding lay the eggs away from the host. They don't lay eggs directly on the host most of the times.
So what my question was, does it have you observed it actually doing the testing before doing the
yes
shooting?
See, the butterfly southern birding uses a different technique. It just scrubs the leaf surface and a kind of aroma is released out where the butterfly might sense it, probably through the antenna also, right? So this is how it gets in confirmation. That's how it works. So once it gets confirmed that there is host plant nearby, so it's not a big deal. The female will lay egg anyways away from the host. So if the caterpillar has to do the rest of the job, after coming out, it has to go in search of the host.
To find
I've seen southern birding females laying eggs very at long distance, like very much like, say for example, 4 or 5 meters away from the host also sometimes. So that also happens. The caterpillar might have to walk far. We don't know. The caterpillar might also sometimes starve to death if it is too far, or if the caterpillar gets confused to find the host also. There is a possibility.
Okay, similar questions from Facebook now.
Yeah.
How do you protect your camera during rains? Actually, we all face the same problem. You have to tell us the secret.
No, thing while shooting, I'm not very much worried about my camera. Seriously, I'm just worried about the photo or the video I'm going to shoot, that I might miss a moment. So that is the only thing which goes into my mind. I'm very much, I'm least bothered about my camera, seriously, which might not be in others' case. Many a times my camera has been fully wet with rains, many a times. And sometimes I, of course, use cloths to cover the camera. And what I used to do is I used to remove all the water outside, which because of rains, which used to be on the surface of the camera, and then it plays in a hot box with more than 1 kg of silica gel, which is to absorb all the moisture. This is how it worked for me. My cameras are still good. I don't have any issues with that.
Okay, great. You had shown a photo of us, babbler approaching birdwing.
Okay.
In that, such a question from Facebook probably. In such a case, would you protect the birdwing or let the babbler eat it?
I let the babbler eat it.
Because it's a part of the circle of life.
Pardon?
Because it's a part of the circle of life.
Part of circle of life. I've seen myself a southern birdwing being caught by a frog. There is a frog which was sitting for almost more than a month near the host Arisloche indica, and the female was laying her eggs. She had laid about 2 eggs. When she was just flying around, suddenly the frog leaped up, jumped, and caught the southern birdwing and ate it up. I observed the frog for almost 2-3 days. The frog was perfect. In spite of southern birdwing being a toxic butterfly, considered to be an unpalatable species.
Okay, for southern birdwing question once again, do you have any average of the duration of each stage, like egg, caterpillar, pupa, and adult for southern birdwing?
See, the time might vary, okay, from butterfly to butterfly. You are just asking for specifically for southern birdwing?
Yeah, the question came in from Facebook for southern birdwing, yes.
Okay.
How many days taken by pupa of southern birdwing? Please share time period needed for each stage.
Okay. See, for southern birdwing, once the female lays her eggs, depending on the conditions. So normally the southern birdwing caterpillar would come out within a week time. But if the conditions are not favorable, say if it is raining continuously, the weather is harsh, I don't know exactly what would be the situation. Like, we don't know what the caterpillar thinks, it doesn't come out for almost 2 weeks. And then the caterpillar would move out of the egg. And it, if it is under normal circumstances, the caterpillar would feed for almost a month, and then the pupation after the pupa, the butterfly would almost take about a month to come out of the pupa under normal condition. But I've seen southern birdwing pupa going to dormant stage. They emerge out almost like after 2 to 3 months. That is when they go to dormant stage. Under normal condition, they take about a month to eclose out of the pupa.
Oh, so diapause is 2 to 3 months.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I do not remember the slide. Can you please repeat the name of the insect being parasitizing the egg? This is from Facebook question. There was a spider with an egg, right?
Yeah, the spider feeding on the eggs of Tawny Costa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second question is, why do ants attack caterpillars? This is probably in relation to the blues caterpillar that you showed was parasitized by ants.
That I don't have an answer for that.
Is there any way to identify whether a butterfly is toxic or not?
See, normally the toxic butterflies, the unpalatable ones, they're very brightly colored. So that's an indication to a predator that it is toxic. So you take a common rose, crimson rose, they are very brightly colored. They are red-bodied solitaires. If you look at the body of the cylindrical body of the common rose or crimson rose, they're bright red in color. So that's an indication to a predator it is toxic.
Safina Majid, she asks, sir, what might be the reason that southern birdwing lays eggs away from the hosts? Because almost insects lay eggs near to the host, assuring the food for larvae.
See, not necessarily all the butterflies would lay eggs directly on the host. Okay, so to escape threats from the parasitic vase, the female southern birding might lay eggs away from the host. The southern birding caterpillars are toxic. The butterfly is toxic. So normally the birds or other predators like frogs also might not feed upon the butterflies on the caterpillars of these butterflies. But the parasitic wasp, they play a very important role in controlling the birding population also. The female uses a strategy. Okay, she uses a strategy because the parasitic wasp would be normally searching on the host for the eggs of the southern birding. She might lay eggs away from the host, sometimes very far from the host. So the caterpillar has to walk towards the host. I hope
I don't find many questions. Yeah. Are there any more questions? Okay. Sammilan, that was a very interesting talk, and we all of us thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And we wish to visit your garden once after the Corona thing is over.
Yes, sure.
Best of luck for the release of your documentary, because I think that should reach most people. I am sure. I mean, we had shared the link, this documentary up as the trailer in YouTube. You can see the quality and the approach to the documentary, and you guys can then go ahead and make a decision on purchasing it. I'm sure someone is going to have it by the end of this year, probably up there.
Yes.
Saying that, I think that is all. Oh, okay, one more question. It comes is, so wasp senses the host is not the caterpillar.
No, it can sense the caterpillar also. So normally what the wasp does is, it is on the host front searching for the eggs. So if the southern birding lays directly on the host, it becomes very easy for the caterpillar to find, right? So it is always searching on the host. It's not that if the female southern birding lay her eggs away from the host, the wasp wouldn't sense it. It would sometimes sense it. Okay, not necessarily. But female uses this technique. It's not only the southern birding female. There are many other butterflies which might lay eggs away from the host. You see great egg fly, it lays eggs on the ground. The host will be nearby, of course. There are some other butterflies also which may lay eggs away from the host. It's normal. So what was the question actually? Wasp senses the host, not the caterpillar.
Yeah. What does it sense actually? The host plant or the caterpillar?
You're asking whom?
I'm asking you, what does the wasp actually sense? The host plant or the caterpillar?
Obviously, it will sense the caterpillar or the eggs, but it will normally be in the host. You take this time. What happened was there's a butterfly called Malabar Bandit swallowtail, which is endemic to Western Ghats, and it breeds on Melicupe lunankenda or Iodia roxburghiana. So this, there are about more than 100 eggs laid. And these wasps are always on the plant searching for the eggs. The Malabar Bandit swallowtail lays eggs on the host. It doesn't have a habit of laying the eggs away from the host. So there are only few butterflies which uses this technique. It's not that the wasp wouldn't find the eggs, but to escape, do their bit. They lay eggs. They follow the strategy of laying eggs away from the host. Even when sometimes the female has laid a egg away from the host, the wasp is going to find the egg of the southern birding. It's not necessarily that they won't find at all, but sometimes it works for the southern birding, sometimes it might not work. Shantanu, you have to unmute yourself.
I said this is the last question of the session. Priyama has her hand raised. Okay. Can you please ask the question?
It was just a continue. I was the one who asked that question about the wasp.
Okay.
So when a wasp sets out to find its, whatever it wants to infect, so the smell of the plant will be stronger to it first, and then when it gets there, then it does the local lesser smell of the egg or caterpillar.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm talking about the very tiny wasp, not the bigger ones, very tiny parasitic wasp. So they are usually on the host. That's what I give an example of the Malabar bandit swallowtail. So these very tiny wasps, they are always on the host. They have a they always keep on moving on the host, trying to find the eggs. So in a moment, the female, if you go and stand in the near the host plant of the Malabar bandit swallowtail, just within about few moment, you will see the lot of wasps coming and trying to lay the eggs. Especially
so they are there even when there is no egg on the plant.
No egg, yeah,
they're found around that.
Yes.
Okay.
They're already there in the host.
So their first line in their line of action, the first thing is to find the host plant, and then the next thing is within that find the egg or caterpillar, what they want to infect.
You're right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sammilan, you want to talk something about the migration of butterflies, especially the South India migration of butterflies?
Okay. Somebody is asking this question. Somebody is asking that question. Okay. See, a lot of work has been done by the WhatsApp group, which was formed by Dr. Kali Sadasivan, where people contribute their observations. Migration study of migration needs to be, a lot of study needs to be done as far as migration in of butterflies is concerned, especially in the Indian subcontinent. There are a lot of interesting butterflies like common rose, crimson rose, which were found sailing in the water when they migrate. So they also, if you take the milkweed butterflies, the blue tiger, the dark blue tiger, or the plain tiger, so they are also known to migrate from the Western Ghats to the Eastern Ghats to avoid harsh weather conditions. Butterflies normally migrate to avoid harsh weather conditions, where when the monsoon approaches, the butterflies starts migrating to escape that harsh weather. If you want me to talk about the migration, some interesting butterflies, one interesting butterflies I would like to mention is the painted lady, which travels probably all the way from Africa. It comes to Middle East, and then it comes to Pakistan, and then enters India, traveling 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers, taking about 5 to 6 generations. The beauty of butterfly migration is that the butterfly which goes to a destination won't return, but their progeny returns. And also, to complete a year-round migration in monarch butterflies, it takes about 5 to 6 generations. So this is very amazing how the butterfly would find their way, when they're not even born. So the route probably genetically coded. So that's very interesting about butterflies. Normally, if you take migration in birds, the one which go return back, but in butterflies, it's altogether different. That's really interesting about butterflies.
Really. Chalo, so that ends up the session for today. Thank you once again, Sammilan. That was great.
Thank you.
And see you soon. See everybody. Keep in touch with Big Butterfly Month because we have more interesting talks lined up.
Okay.
And thank you everybody for attending.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.